Hey everybody, welcome back to the video. In this one, Marley and I are going to be breaking down our experience the couple weeks leading up to the Mustang Magic and then the Mustang Magic competition itself. Let's get into it.
Here's Ryan Rose of Brooklyn, Wisconsin.
All right, so 2 weeks, about a week and a half prior to the competition, we headed to Nate Eicher's ranch, Eicher Ranch, in Mineral Wells, Texas, and we were gonna lay over there for a few days leading up to the competition. I wanted to ride with Nate. I wanted him to help me get dialed in. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Nate Eicher. If you haven't already, go subscribe to his channel. They are absolutely amazing people. He's a top-notch trainer and he's an even better human being. And so he worked with me each day while we were there, gave me some of the finer points of the competition. He's won 7 of them, won first at 7 of them, and was reserve at a couple others. So he is just great at these Mustang events. And so he was giving me some good tips. He also has a phenomenal obstacle course to ride through. And so that was super, super fun to ride through his obstacle course. Then Wednesday morning, we all headed over to the Mustang Magic competition. It was held during the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. So that was super cool. But what was stressful about that is leading her through like crowds of people. I mean, when we had to take her out to go warm up in the arena, the aisleways were just packed with people. And a lot of them weren't aware that they were Mustangs only 4 months into training, and that there's still some risks of being around their hindquarters and their mouth. And so we did have to have some security, and shout out to my friend Jake Beerbaum, who was there with me, and he kind of ran security detail and kept the crowd safe from her while we were getting to and from our arenas and things like that. And so that was just an incredible experience. So now we are getting ready for our first event. And so the very first event is the in-hand and conditioning school.
Here's Ryan Rose of Brooklyn, Wisconsin. And Marley, the 5-year-old bred roan mare, gathered from Black Rock Range, Nevada. Here's Ryan Rose, one of our Wisconsin contingency here, hit number 16.
So pretty simple things. My only concern was I hadn't turned her loose in a round pen in a while, and she loves to roll. So I wasn't worried about her being hard to catch, but I was concerned that she was gonna roll and that I would have, the 10 seconds is up, you have to go in there whether they're rolling or not. So I was a little bit worried about that. But luckily for me, I was so proud of her. I took off the halter and she followed me out of the round pen. And she stayed right there at the round pen gate. And then she was nibbling on the guy's fingers, Stormy Mullins, who puts on the Mustang Magic. And shout out to Stormy. He's done more from helping Mustangs and equine and people in the equine industry. And he's a guy behind the scenes that is doing a ton of things to really help the horse industry and especially Mustang. So thank you, Stormy, for all that you're doing. But he gave her a couple of clucks. He just gave her a few clucks and then she kind of walked off from the round pen. And so I stepped in and got her haltered up and went out. And then she took a step while I was brushing her and while I was picking up her feet. Not too big a deal. She loaded into the trailer pretty well. It's the first time they'd ever seen that particular horse trailer. And so they're kind of just skeptical of everything at first, but she walked right in there and I was really happy. So we ended up 5th in the in-hand and conditioning class. So I'm happy with this, where everything's feeling good. And then we're on to the next class, which is called the maneuvers class.
Thank you, Ryan. It's Ryan Rose, Marley, the 5-year-old bred roan mare.
So during the maneuvers class, I'm warming up and I'm feeling really confident. Like, she is warming up and her transitions, she's relaxed, she is just on point. I'm feeling super good about how this class is going to go. Now, I want you to keep in mind for this class, actually, let me play the video for you, and then I'll talk about it. Come out of the maneuvers class and I am feeling like a total failure. She was spooking at the signs while we were in there. Now, a lot of the other Mustang competitors were talking about the crowd, the people in there, you know, waving their hands or coughing or sneezing or just doing some motions. But from my perspective, what had happened to me is we were warming up in this arena and it's blank. So we were getting up at 4 a.m. every morning, getting there bright and early, getting a ride on her when the environment's nice and calm. And so that way from then on, I could saddle her up, warm up for about 5 to 15 minutes, somewhere in there, and then go show. But I did one kind of more of a complete training ride early in the morning every day of this competition. And so my perspective was the arena had looked a certain way to her, and a lot of horses like her that are more skeptical, when you change the environment that they're used to, all of a sudden this looks different and they're concerned. So by the signs being out there, which were really to help the riders know what move to do at each sign, they were scaring her. And when we got around the corner, it was at the same time, I guess somebody stood up in the crowd and made some commotion. She was spooking at the signs, from my opinion, that's what happened. And I was cueing her to canter on a right lead. All that combined caused her to kind of scoot sideways. And that really probably gave us zeros or some sort of negative score for 2 of the maneuvers in that class. So coming out of that class, we were sitting 12th. So we are out of the top 10 at this point. So I was pretty devastated, I'm not gonna lie. I was feeling really down, like I had failed her because I hadn't exposed her to those signs. And I felt like I let everybody down in the arena. And that was a tough pill to swallow, and tough night's sleep getting ready for the next day. All right, so you got to have a short memory when you're doing this. It's not about just one class. You gotta look ahead and learn from your mistakes from the day before and get ready for the next day. So the next day, my plan is the first class up is the trail class. Now, they didn't set out the obstacles for us, so we don't know, exactly. We know the pattern. But we don't know exactly what the obstacles are going to look like and how much shrubbery and brush they're going to put around them. So what I did is I took out my freestyle obstacles, and that was my wife Emily's idea, and she was just amazing support for me over the whole weekend. She was super busy just helping me do everything, and I think she might have been even more stressed out about it than I was. So thank you to Emily for all the support she gave me there. So her idea was, hey, go ahead and put your freestyle obstacles out as if they're trail obstacles, and at least you have something to offer the horse, kind of a squeeze feel getting ready for that trail class. So we did that, and that worked out pretty good. And then Luke Castro he was one of the competitors there. Shout out to Luke, thank you for all your support. He was really giving me a lot of great advice and coaching. And I just want to say, all the Mustang competitors were just fantastic people. I was really impressed with their level of horsemanship.
Folks, you can see Ryan's did a great job on Marley, the 5-year-old bred roan mare. That's hit number 16. That's one mark down right there, everybody.
So coming out of the trial class, I was feeling good. I was happy with my horse. She did really well, but we made some mistakes, so I wasn't sure, and I didn't get a chance to watch most of the other riders go, so I don't really know where I'm at this point until several hours later. And then one of my friends, Ann Hepworth, I ran into her in the back, and she goes, "You got second in trail." And I was like, yes, that means, because for me that meant we are solidly in the top 10. Like, we are likely to be in the top 10 to be able to do our freestyle on Saturday. So I was just thrilled at this point. And then the next class is the compulsory class, which is basically like a kind of a light reining pattern, is the way I would describe it. And the arena is going to be empty at that point. So I was feeling pretty good about that class. Nate had coached me on that class. We had ran through it. And so I was feeling pretty good about going into the compulsory class.
Here comes Ryan Rose and Marley, hit number 16.
We went in and did our compulsory. And one of the first elements of this was you have to lope into the arena through the alleyway. Well, the alleyway is wide enough for a truck to drive through, but it's still pretty squeezy feeling for horses, especially 4-month Mustang. So a lot of the competitors, including myself, we practiced that, getting out of that alleyway. And a lot of the horses would get kind of like their steering would, they wouldn't lope a straight line coming out of the alleyway because they kind of felt a weird squeeze coming from the alleyway into the arena. But when I sent Marley in there, she was straight as an arrow. She was honest as could be. And out of the whole weekend, that was probably one of my most favorite rides. She was just exactly where I needed her to be. In that class, she did everything I asked her to do. Any mistakes that we made were 100% on me. She was just right there for me throughout the class. And so watching the video back, I was just thrilled with how that class went. And I thought we were in the top 2 or 3, and then we ended up getting 3rd in that class. And so I was really thrilled. We are solidly in the top 10 now, and we get to do our freestyle for everybody. So I'm feeling pretty good at this point.
Great job. There's Ryan Rose of Brooklyn.
Now Saturday is an absolutely crazy day, because this day the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo is just blown up. Like, there are so many people. The aisleways are packed. The warm-up arena is filled with the drill team practicing their routine. And so it is like, just feels like chaos there. Like, you just could not believe that your Mustang would be ready to handle this type of pressure in the environment. The only thing that was tricky about getting ready for the freestyle is there was not very much space to warm up. And then we have to go in and get introduced into that class. And then I have literally a few minutes to get back to my horse, get mounted up, get warmed up, and then go sit in the alleyway and be ready.
We open tonight with the greatest song that we'll ever play in this arena. It is our Stars.
So I'm sitting in the alleyway, and now Amber is going ahead of me, and she has got the crowd on the edge of their seats. Like, I'm hearing so many applauses and things, and they're cheering. And I mean, there's over 5,000 people in the stands. People were sneaking in the bucking chutes and in the alleyway. I mean, it is just absolutely packed. The environment was electric. The announcer who is running the stereo system and the music, I mean, he did an incredible job. And I mean, the crowd is pumped. So I'm sitting back there going, oh my gosh, like, I'm questioning my decision of I'm about to drag a dummy into it. And I'm thinking, maybe I need to have 2 hands on the reins and not ride in on 1 hand. And so I'm getting a little bit worked up. My heart rate's up, and I'm super nervous going into this, thinking like she's gonna lose it with this crowd. Like, this is just a crazy experience. And they open up the gate, we walk in, our music turns on, and Marley is right there with me. Presentations, sometimes I get a little too excited and I go for it a little too fast. So I chose to really try to be conservative, try to be the same rider I am when nobody's around and I'm warming up, and just take my time and get through a nice clean freestyle run. So that's what we did. We had a lot of fun doing it. The only snafu was from the drill team and the other riders going ahead of me. There was some divots in the arena, and unfortunately our shark got stuck. And so it got into the arena, which had a little bit of a pop from the crowd, but then it just stuck. And what the shark was supposed to do, it was supposed to come out, take a right turn, and go like, you know, kind of creepily circle the surfer. And then I was supposed to come running in, jump over the wave, and then chase the shark off the surfer and go rope it while it was actually going somewhere. So that was the only snafu that we had in our freestyle. Other than that, I was super thrilled with her. We also were supposed to lay down on the beach towel that was laid out, but my fault, I was short on time. I didn't manage my time as well as I could have, and I wasn't able to have time. She was trying to lay down for me, but she needed a few more seconds in order to get it, and I wasn't able to do that for her. So nonetheless, we ended up getting the best points, best score for the freestyle. And so I was super happy with that. And then we come out of the arena and then wait our turn to go back in to promote the horses and get ready for the sale. Now they're asking us to go stand by the bucking chutes and get ready to announce the placings. And at that point, I was feeling pretty good. I thought we were between first and third in there. I wasn't totally sure, but I was feeling pretty good about my freestyle run, and I was in pretty good shape to be competitive in that.
This time, I would invite Ryan Rose and Marley and Amber Hoffmeyer and Triple Diamonds to step forward. Ladies and gentlemen, it's between these two right here. What came down to an reserve champion tonight will go home with a check for $10,000. Second place goes to hit number 16, Ryan Rose and Marley. Your champion of Mustang Magic is Hammer Hot.
But I didn't get to see all the other freestyles, so I really wasn't totally sure how it was gonna shake out. But at that point for me, I had already won. It's like in my head, as far as like I was proud of my horse. I was really happy with just how everything turned out, regardless of where I got in the placings. I had a good weekend, and yeah, I knew I was going to take Marley home at that point.
And my man's in 45, now 5,000. 5,000, we need to get out, give me 500, give me 5. 5,000, now 55. 55. I got 5,000, you gotta be 55. 55, 5,000, I'm 5,000 up top, you're out. 55, now 6,000. 6, 5. 65, 7,000, 7, now 5. 75, 75, now 8. 8,000, you get 8 more, you get 8 more, 8,000. Silver, 7,500, 28 to buy.
Hey guys, so we just got reserved, and I don't think my journey and story with Marley's over yet. So I got her bought, and she's coming home with me, and we're gonna see you guys at Road to the Horse.
55, Brown shirt out. I got 5 with 55,